Why foreigners secretly hate each other in the Philippines. Foreigners in the Philippines don't just dislike each other. Many of them genuinely cannot stand one another. Behind the paradise photos and the best life ever vlogs is a toxic mix of jealousy, bruised egos, racism, sexual competition, and pure resentment.
You know, it's so funny that these expats, they'll do the exact same thing but call the other expats out. So basically, it's pointing fingers at each other and not at themselves. And then the one thing that gets on my nerves is the fact that they have to be in competition when it comes to degeneracy, which is who can hook up with the most Filipinas and who can do all this and that. And it's honestly kind of disgusting, which makes me not like being around them, because that is the only thing that they can talk about. Nothing of substance, only things that are surface level.
This video is not about Filipinos. This is strictly about us, the foreigners, and why we tear each other apart here. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Joey, and this is the life of Joey. I've been living in the Philippines for about 4 years now, and I've seen it all. I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, the extremely ugly side of expat life here in the Philippines. And you know, if you're planning to move here, all right, you're probably wondering like why other foreigners seem all shady and hostile, you know, and they just kind of stick around, right? So, you know, today I'm just going to tell you the truth. I'm tell you the truth of why these guys are the way that they are.
And before we get into that, me living in Manila for 2 years, Makati City, I've seen all kinds of crazy stuff coming from other expats or foreigners, like starting fights in the bars, or for instance, this one guy got mad at one of the band members during live music, ended up throwing trash and stuff at the band, and I'm like, what in the world is going on with these people? And honestly, I just don't know. It's some kind of mental illness that is going on when it comes to these guys traveling out here. And the one thing is, they just seem to be very addicted to P-Burgos, which were basically the walking street. And there was an instance where they like to go in and record, and they get kicked out, and they want to fight the bouncer because they got kicked out when they say no cameras. There's even signs that say no cameras. But you know how some of these expat vloggers want? They want to record everything and show off on YouTube, and then make it look like they're really living it big and stuff, and then attract more degenerate expats. And then another sad thing is when they do get caught recording, some of them don't even want to be seen in that space or caught, and they will literally come out and argue or try to fight the other expat for recording. And it'll be hilarious. And now it'll be hilarious, of course, but it's just overall ugly. It's basically just an ugly scene, an ugly environment, and just overall ugly.
The main tribes. Okay, first, you need to understand the different like tribes of foreigners, you know, that are here in the Philippines, and how each group, they kind of look down upon one another, right? So, you know, to start it off, you've got the older retirees, you know, mostly American, Australians, Canadians, and like European boomers. You know, you got your Brits. The Brits are some of the Brits and the Australians, man, for me, are some of the worst. And, you know, most of them are on a pension. So they come for the low cost of living and the young companionship, right? They hate the younger guys. You know, they always call them entitled kids that never worked for anything in their life, right? We've seen it. We've all heard it. I've even done it to kids younger than me. Then you got...
The funny thing about that is, even I get that kind of hate, but none of them know the kind of work I have to do in the past to even get to this point. So it's obvious, it's very narrow-minded to assume that every young person that gets to travel abroad was just entitled and was just so like granted or handed out just an opportunity to do it. No, some of us either started our first businesses, some of us even just did our own thing, which is obviously 2 times harder than just getting a job. Well, the tables flip now, so now getting a job is the hardest thing, and then starting your own business is the easiest thing. But some of us have actually, especially me, have done some very dangerous jobs that pay high, but also are risky because risking your life pays you more than just having a little soft, basic job. So I spent all of my youth risking my life, doing all these dangerous jobs, just to be able to just afford, okay, a good life, and eventually be able to travel, which I can say it's not very easy, and it does take a toll on the body. But I don't want to hear a single old fart ever tell me that I was entitled or fortunate or anything, because they have no idea. They have no idea the shit I had to come through. I have so many scars, almost got blown up many times, almost died many times. But I don't want to hear anyone tell me that I don't deserve to be where I'm at because I didn't work hard enough.
Got the hardcore sex tourist guys and the bar guys, right? The bar guys are everywhere. You can see them stumbling down the roads in like Cebu, Angeles, Clark, you know, and they hate the retirees for wifing up, you know, all of the good ones while they're out here banging these freelancers and prostitutes.
Tonight, in a far-flung part of the Philippines, Arthur Benjamin is in a good mood.
All the pretty girls running around, I'm good.
Laughing, drinking, ogling the girls dancing on stage at this bar, which he says he owns.
This is your life. In a nutshell, pretty much.
Benjamin is a 49-year-old American suspected of having sex with underage girls and selling them for sex out of this bar called Crowbar.
And driving up the prices. Right?
You know, there's something really sickening with these types of people. These are the type of people that hate on people like me for just doing my own thing. But this kind of environment, a lot of these guys make us Americans look so bad. Like the decent Americans look terrible because these are the guys representing us. Nobody looks at younger people, like younger Americans. They always look at the old Americans because they're the loudest ones. They're the ones that get all the attention. They're the most entitled ones. And it's honestly just sad. And the thing is, I mean, I'm gonna have to judge on this one, especially with because all the conversations that I've heard in the past, being around these guys, talking about how they purposely look for these younger underage girls and they brag about it. And it's like hearing a nail scrape the wall, just hearing these conversations. And it's very disgusting because if we were in the US, then obviously there would be violence happening if they were to openly talk about that. But the fact that we're in the Philippines, no one's going to do anything.
Right. They also hate the younger digital nomads who get the female attention for free, basically, right? Because they're making money. They're desirable. And next are the digital nomads and the remote workers, mostly in their 20s and 30s, hanging out in Cebu, Makati, BGC, Davao sometimes. You know, I've seen more digital guys in Makati and BGC, and they love to shit on the old retirees, calling them like racist drunks and creepy sexpats. But deep down inside, most of these guys are doing the same exact thing. Most of those digital nomads, they're doing the same thing. They just have, you know, better marketing and a MacBook Pro, right? They're still scumbags, just a different kind. And don't forget the Koreans and the Japanese.
Before we get into that, that is true. Okay, there's always two sides of a coin. Yes, the younger guys obviously doing the same exact things as the older guys. No matter if it's just the fact that it's just the age difference. So the old guys, they have to have, they deal with the transition all they can get really is transactional relationships, and they can make it look like it's real and genuine, but it's really not, because no super young woman is going to be with a super old guy just because he's charming. We're not going to be delusional. Now, as for young guys, of course, you can get a girl that's your age or younger, because I mean, you're very close, can relate on some things. I would say, just from my personal experience, well, since I left Manila and Makati, I didn't really have to deal with like transactional anything, but it was kind of a headache trying to date in Makati. But since I moved to a more of a well-balanced city and province, the women here have been very, very generous. They share everything. They provide, but not like that. Like, let's say you take them on a date, and they try to pay for everything. And so if I pay for dinner, they'll try to pay for everything else. And then it's a very warm feeling, but I mean, I can tell that they obviously like you if they're willing to go out of their way to to contribute. It's a beautiful thing, but I don't think it happens with some of the older guys. I don't know. It's just, I guess we kind of get our own market of dating, which I kind of appreciate, but I've never been treated treated as well as I have since I moved here.
And then finally, you have the smaller groups of the expats, right? Like the Russians, the Indians, the Nigerians, and the Africans. They often catch extra layers of racism from like everybody, from all sides. Some of it's justifiable, some of it is not. The real
I will say, when it comes to Africans and Black people, a lot of them do kind of earn it, because a lot of them don't act right and they act belligerent, and it's annoying. But there are a lot of decent Africans and decent Black people. It's just a lot of it's people. There's a thing called pattern recognition, and I also get tired of hearing about it. But it's, if you keep running into the same group, the same issue with the same group, of course you're going to build up some walls or some resistance. It's just a natural human behavior. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it is. But it's not just Black and Africans. Every group is earning their own reputation as they travel or as they get well known.
reason for the hate. Reason number one, sexual competition and people getting their egos destroyed. Let's be brutally honest, right? This is 70% of the problem of expat versus expat in the Philippines. Sorry, it's the road dust. Anyways, you want it unscripted, right? You got it. Most foreign guys didn't come here, just for the beaches. Let's be honest. I didn't come here for just the beaches. I mean, I live anyways. When a 58-year-old overweight retiree on SSI, Social Security, sees a 29-year-old fit European guy pulling a 20 to 23-year-old Filipina left and right without spending much money, it actually destroys him inside. It kills his ego, because he's got to spend them shekels to get that hoo-hoo. Okay? When the broke English teacher has a loyal and sweet girlfriend while a rich businessman, keeps getting played and used for money. You cannot lead with your wallet, gentlemen. Come on, man. Then the jealousy turns into pure hatred. It's just how it happens here. Expats hate expats. I don't talk to 99.9% of expats in this country. And everyone is keeping score.
The funny thing about that, being the broke guy that gets a loyal woman versus being the rich business guy that just keeps getting played or used, the metrics are pretty funny. But a lot of these guys that are rich, they don't really keep themselves together. They always fat, out of shape. They smell terrible. Just from my experience being around adult, like, I'll see a super young Filipina going to dinner with a guy that smells like Cheetos, and it's awfully ranked Cheetos. Like I was just trying to like I was at a rooftop bar just having a Coca-Cola and shisha, and this guy walked past us 4 times and I wanted to barf. I wanted to barf. And I'm just thinking in my head, how is she with this guy? And I instantly know money. Because that's all a lot of these guys ever have is money. But if it wasn't for money, she would not be with that guy at all. But as for, seeing the younger guys with girls, I mean, they have fun, they laugh, and they do just all kinds of adventurous things like sing, drink together, everything. And even I hang out with girls or with Filipinas, and we have drinks together, food, karaoke, everything, laugh, joke, and it's just natural chemistry versus being an old guy that can't relate to anything, can't make jokes, can't even run, can't do anything, can't dance, nothing. But I gotta say, it's a good life being young and traveling abroad. But I understand the hate and resentment and the jealousy, but it's just, man, you just gotta play your cards, when it's your time.
Losers cope by calling the winners simps, sex tourists, ugly passport bros, or exploiters. Oh, I've been told that a couple times. They get the exploiters. That I've been accused of that, of being an exploiter, saying I'm coming here just to use the women that are in poverty and using my money to gain things from them. And that couldn't be further from the truth, because all of the women I've dated have been grown adults and professionals in their own right. So, I don't know what the hell these people talk about exploiters. But honestly, it's pathetic. But it's what happens when you take insecure men and you put them in a dating market where it heavily favors them. It heavily favors these insecure men. Reason number 2, national stereotypes on steroids. Alcohol removes the filters. Americans equal loud and arrogant. Think they own the country, which is kind of true. That's how a lot of us are. I try not to be that way, but it is what it is.
Yeah. It's everywhere like that. This is why I don't like to be around other Americans, because they don't talk in a sense of being like a human being. They talk like they just want to just colonize everyone and everything. They talk to the locals disrespectfully, especially just not here where I'm at, but in places like Makati, VGC, everywhere. And then the way they talk about the women here is disgusting. Like, they don't talk to them like human beings. They don't treat the guys like human beings. And I will say, if they come from big cities, they are the absolute worst, because they have no sense of morality, no sense of decency, no sense of integrity. As much as they preach it, they don't have any of it, because they talk about it on their level, but they don't talk about it when it comes to everyone else. So they'll go to like treating the women like with the mask, they'll be all kind and nice and then use them for their bodies, but then when it comes to the guys, they'll just be absolute dirtbags to the guys and just treat them like trash. And I would say American culture is so filled with so much hypocrisy and indecency that it's just kind of like just vomiting vomit. And it's one of the reasons why I can't be around a lot of American expats, because you just never know who is going to be that piece of shit that you later find out after getting to know them or talk to them for, a few months or whatever.
Right? The British, sarcastic, negative, and they complain about everything. They do. There's a British YouTuber that I follow that just absolutely whinges and complains about everything. The Aussies are usually drunk, aggressive, and always starting shit. They're the ones that always wants to fight and just be an asshole. And then you got your Europeans, right? Your Europeans are cheap and pretentious. And when I say pretentious, I'm talking like pretentious. Like, just look at some of the news and stuff that's coming out of places like Sikihor and Boracay. Now here lately it's been Israeli tourists, but by and large, it was always the Europeans that were causing the problems, right? And they tend not to bathe as often as the rest of us as well. I take a bath every day, sometimes 2 times a day, depending on how much I sweat. I'm going off on a tangent again because you didn't want me reading a script.
No, look, we can't go into stereotypes about the Europeans, okay? That's the oldest stereotype ever, that they don't bathe. But going on to I'm going to bring up the Australians one time. The times that I went out a few times in Makati to the clubs, these Australian guys are just super aggressive. Like, when I mean by aggressive, I mean, like, if I'll just be sitting by myself, or not sitting by myself, standing, minding my own business, drinking, and these hyper Australian dudes will be like dancing, and then they'll come up, and then they won't stop putting their hand on my shoulder, being rough. And you know when you're like when you would just have like a guy here, your buddy, whatever, and you're always rough with them, put hand on their neck or hand on their shoulder, and you're like doing this, and it's like, it's too much. It's too much. And I don't even know the guys, but they're drunk, loud, and obnoxious and rough, and it's like, man, I can't be around these guys.
Let's continue, huh? The stereotypes, they fly around everyone every night in every expat bar after a few red horses or some Ginebra, right? You know the Ginebra, little clear bottles, white label, you know what I'm talking about.
Ginebra.
Reason number 3, money, status, and fake lives. Oh, that is prevalent here in the Philippines. Some foreigners are secretly struggling, but pretend that they're rich. Guys, I see this every day on YouTube. Others are actually wealthy and flex hard. You got guys surviving on $900 a month, calling the guy spending $4,000 a month a show off. He's an idiot. He's just showing off. He doesn't need to make us feel bad. And then the rich guy calls the budget expat a brokey, or like a broke loser, dragging down the white man's reputation. All right, these losers, man.
Oh my god, I like what Joey's adding stuff in his videos. Jeez, but man, with the status thing, at this point it doesn't even matter. It's all garbage. I mean, who cares? I mean, it doesn't really matter. Just to me, like how much money someone's spending or how much someone's making, just leave people alone. Just shut up and live your life. Like, I don't understand why people have to brag about how much they make or brag about how much they spend. It's just annoying. And I used to be like that. I used to be, because I came from a hustle culture where bragging about your status and all this other bullshit was how you stay relevant. But now I'm at the point where I just don't care anymore. And a lot of it's just annoying because there are things that are more important to me and are actually wholesome and meaningful, like having a community or having friends or just having relationships or connections with people and having meaningful things to talk about and not talking about a stupid car or all these properties I owned and everything and all of the nitty-gritty useless stuff that we've accomplished or done. And every now and then I get to say like, oh, I started an oil field business, just because people ask like, what did you do when you were in the US? Because that was the very last thing that I did. I'm not trying to brag about it, it's just that. But a lot of these guys, they have to just vocalize. No one has even asked them that. No one's even asked them anything like that, but they do have to vocalize what they do or what they've done just to look good in front of people. And it's just like, you don't need to do that. A lot of times I don't even like talking or bringing up anything that I used to do. I like to talk about what I'm doing now because I just kind of want to let that just be buried so I don't have to explain my entire life story because it's too complicated.
Reason number 4, we're all escapists. Every last one of us. A huge percentage of us ran away from something, a bad divorce, child support payments, failed businesses, depression, or even legal troubles back home. There's a lot of you criminals floating out here, and they're going to catch your ass someday. But damaged people, man, they don't help build a healthy community, right? They don't. They provide nothing of substance. Instead, you get paranoia, backstabbing, gatekeeping, especially in Facebook groups. Holy shit. Facebook is toxic on another level. You're not a real expat unless you've been here for 10 years.
You gotta, if you really want to be a real expat, you have to be here for 100 years. But no, the thing is about escaping. So I have many reasons to leave the U.S. and many other people do too. For one, the cost of living is ridiculous. 2, politics, and then just the overall environment and just how people are these days. And then 3, just for me, this is just a unique thing, but my community is kind of dying because, for one, aging out, and a lot of guys, like people my age, are just passing away, dying left and right. A lot of my friends are in the grave, and it kind of just makes it hard to just kind of stick around, because it is very depressing to just sit there and just have friends and then they just die. So left and right, from just a lot of things going on in their lives. But and then plus aging too. Everyone's getting, a lot of the elder people are getting old and old and old, and all the young people moved out. So they moved away years ago. So why would I stick around when everyone's leaving and dying and aging? So I just left before the ship sank. That's basically, if you want to call it escaping or or what, but I just wanted to be somewhere where I could have a new life, could have something that was fresh, new. And my initial reason for coming to the Philippines was for real estate, but the guy was a fraud, led me astray, and now I'm here.
An endless drama. Oh my God, you guys. The drama on Facebook is astronomical. I personally, if I wasn't connected to my kids in America, my mom and my brother, by Facebook, I would have deleted Facebook years ago. Facebook is like one of the most toxic platforms, I'd say second only to Reddit. And Facebook is just toxicity. It's horrible. It's full of so many fake people with fake stories and fake lives. It's disgusting. What happened to being real? What happened to presenting your true self? Which is probably why my channel is growing like it is, because I present my true self. Anyways, another tangent. Let's continue. See, the thing about the Philippines, though, is it exposes who you really are. No consequences, cheap beer, beautiful women who actually like you. For some people, it can bring the worst out of them. Mm-hmm. Some it can bring the best out. But a lot of these guys that come here, they don't like what they see in the mirror. And it's like the nice guy becomes controlling and jealous. The liberal guy, he becomes a full-blown passport bro, right? Like the liberal guys. The liberals are the worst. They're the worst. The religious guy becomes a sugar daddy. Oh, you know what I'm talking about, right? We've seen it. I've seen it. Anyways. And instead of working on themselves, they just attack each other. And fuck that guy. That foreigner's a piece of trash. This foreigner did that. That foreigner did this. Like, come on, man. Whatever happened to minding your own business? Section number 3.
The funny thing is, when I moved here, when I came out of that hustle culture out of the U.S., I had some kind of arrogance, some kind of ego because, I was a business guy. But when I went to Thailand, when I first arrived in Thailand, things kind of softened up because I was around a lot of just wretched, just mean, just edgy people that were just overall rough. And going into like kind of like a soft environment in somewhere like Pattaya, Thailand, before it got overran by all these other tourists, and just meeting locals and just having some kind of warmth and kindness shown to me by the locals, it did kind of soften me up a little bit, and I became a little more grounded. And then coming into the Philippines, it wore off because I was around these business people. And then I had to snap back into the hustle culture mode. But then when I found out that I was being exploited and used, then I got, kind of bitter, resentful, and just angry. And then to add on top of that, all the inconveniences with the city of Makati and just everything that was going on, everything was just piling on and piling on, piling on. And I basically just shut down. But leaving for 2 months to go to Bali, Indonesia, and then making friends, and then coming to Malaysia and meeting another friend, and then actually not coming back to Manila, but moving to a province slash city. Well, it's well balanced, but it's still a province and it's an island. Things in being met with the same kind of warmth that I had in Thailand. Things have been going pretty good, and so since all that happened, I've completely mellowed out. Now, I may not seem very energetic or enthusiastic. It's because I'm actually tired, and I have not been getting good sleep because I've been too busy, not only working on things but also hanging out with some really fun people. But things started to kind of heal since I've been here. So it's actually brought the best out of me instead of the worst. Manila brought the worst out of me, but this place brought the best out of me.
The ugly truth. You'll see white guys calling Asian foreigners rice N-word. I can't say that, and I refuse to say that. You'll hear Asians calling Westerners monkeys, white monkeys to be exact, and walking ATMs. The Chinese are known for doing that, calling white people white monkeys. You don't believe me? Look it up on the internet. It's right there. It's no joke. They really do that. And the black foreigners, the Africans, the blacks, they get it from multiple directions. And it's all happening here in the Philippines every single day. Every day. I play Arc Raiders on Xbox, and I'm here in the Philippines. You have no idea how many times I've been called the N-word when I kill somebody, right? The expat brotherhood that people talk about, it's fake. It's mostly fake. Real relationships exist, but they're very, very rare. Most interactions are like surface level at best. Like, hey, how you doing? Good afternoon, sir. Oh, that's a nice sandwich. Where did you get that sandwich? Base, like surface level. It never goes deeper. And if it does, it's very, very rare. Very, very rare. No joke. Very, very rare. And it's kind of sad, but I like it that way. I don't need to be friends with foreigners or expats. It's just my cup of tea, right?
I would say that was for the first time when it came to Filipinos. When I first came here and was getting to know people, even some expats that came from places like Switzerland or Germany. But the thing is, like, having conversations with them, there wasn't, well, at first there was surface level, but then it became, deep conversations. And it actually became meaningful because we talked about all kinds of things like good memories when it comes to family, the future, what we really want out of our lives, and what we're truly looking for. And just all kinds of just things that you want to talk about. And then another thing, I met a very nice, beautiful Italian woman at a karaoke place, and we talked about music and everything, not some surface level BS mainstream music, but actually musician music, like Like the things that were truly interesting, the things I truly appreciated about music on a deeper level, not like rap or all that other dumb BS. But since I grew up as a musician since I was 10 years old, I love playing jazz and then bossa nova, which is Brazilian jazz. And then we got into some more different, cultural things when it comes to music. But it was those kind of conversations, no matter what, that always made, living here, staying here, just more healing and wholesome. Because, it was almost like every time someone talks to me, it just felt very warm, just being here.
So look, not every foreigner is toxic. There are mature guys that are just living a grounded life here, building real lives and businesses and treating people with respect, which is what I'm doing. But let's be honest, guys like me and the lifestyle that we live in the Philippines is the minority. We are the minority. Most of the drama you see in the Facebook groups, bar fights and comment sections, it comes from the insecure, broken, or like the entitled men that are coming here purely just to compete. They're competing on the same playground, but with different rules, between each other. It's sickening. But the thing is, the Philippines, it doesn't create these monsters. It just gives them unlimited sunlight and freedom, right? Plenty of room to grow. I guess that's the metaphor I'm trying to get at.
Basically, it's saying it gives them free reign to be them true selves, or free reigns to just be a piece of shit. A lot of times when you're in an environment where you don't suffer consequences for your actions, or don't suffer consequences for being a terrible person, you just become a terrible person. And I've met a lot of foreigners like that that I no longer want to be around, because they will literally make up a story about how, for example, they'll say, "Oh, Asians love it when you're like this with them." And it's like, no, the fuck they don't. How do you know what they love and what they don't love? You can't tell people what they love. That is so evil. Like telling someone what they love and what they don't love, that can go to so many directions. But no, and that's the reason why that's why nobody likes you or likes where we come from, or whatever country you come from. It's because people have that mentality, and it's honestly disgusting.
So if you're thinking about moving here, my advice to you new guys is very, very simple. Keep your head down, build your own small circle of solid people, and just don't expect some magically supportive foreign community, because most of them are fake. And
I will tell you one thing. From my last video, hearing about that 7-year-old American that gunned down the other 70-year-old American in the KTV bar, I would say there is no foreign community, because it's only going to be just a mess. Just a huge mess of just broken individuals band together to basically break each other until there's nothing left. So no, I'm not fusing in with that shit pole.
Realistically does not exist as it's portrayed on these social media sites. So guys, just be smart, use your head, make sure the people you are surrounding yourself with are a benefit to you, right? My dad had an old saying he told me and my brother when we was growing up. My dad said, "Joey, the people that you surround yourself with shows everybody else what type of man you are." If y'all enjoyed the video, like, comment, and share. I've got some more crazy subjects going.
All right, shout out to the Life of Joey. I'm actually very, very happy that his channel is growing, and he's doing his thing. He's coming up, with some really good topics that I enjoy listening to. He really does spread a lot of truth and awareness, and he doesn't soften the blows either. So he's very, very real, and I try to be real in my videos. But I like to react to his, and then also share in my experience too, because we're of two different generations. But I like that he points out both sides of the coin, not just one. So if you like this video, tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like the video, like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.